Hello, kindergarten. So let's go ahead and let's do our reading lesson for the day. Our question of the week says, how is a school built? We talked about this yesterday. When we build a school, we have to start at the bottom. We have to start at the bottom whenever we build anything, and then we can slowly work our way to the top. So kindergarten, I want to know, how do we start building a school? What would the first thing we need to do be? What would we need to do first? I know. Before we build anything, I remember when my good friend Mr. Sam, when he had his house built, they didn't just go in and start building it brick by brick. They had to get in these big machines like an excavator, and they had to dig. Before you start building a school, the first thing you need to do is dig. You might need to dig trenches. Ooh, we're going to talk about that word. Or you might need to dig out a basement. Kind of like in our school, we kind of have a basement. Do you know what we have in our basement? We have our cafeteria down there. We also have our library and our music room down there. It's not all the way under because we have some windows where we can see out. It's just a little bit under. But you might have a basement at your house that's all the way under the ground. Or you might still have some windows where you can see out. So the first thing you need to do before you start building is you've got to dig. Kindergarten, let's check out what our comprehension skill is again this week. It says, I can compare and contrast. Great! Today, let's pick up these two solid shapes. Let's find one thing that's the same and one thing that's different. And let's see if we can use some of our math words from yesterday. Kindergarten, I see that both of these shapes have, what are these pointy parts called? Vertices. Both of these shapes have vertices. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's something that they have in common. That's something that is the same. I compared them, so I found something that was the same about them. Let's contrast. Let's find something that's different about these two solid shapes. Oh, I spotted one. Do you see it? Look at the faces of these solid shapes. What shape is the face? Not the whole shape, just the face. What shape is this flat surface, this face? It's a square. And while this one also has a square face on the bottom, not all of its faces are square like this one. Its other faces are shaped like triangles. This one has 4 triangles on it. So that is something that is different about them. We contrasted them. Kindergarten, please get ready because we have 2 new words to learn this week. Our first word today is groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. Did you guess the right picture yesterday? The picture that matches the word groundbreaking would be right here. Let me stick our word next to it. Groundbreaking. What are these men doing in this picture? What are they doing in this picture? They have shovels. They have shovels. They are doing the groundbreaking. So we said the first thing we need to do before we build a school is we need to dig. So they're not really going to dig all of it because one, they're dressed in their really nice outfits. They are in suits and ties. And I know that we don't do work like that in our suits and ties. We don't want to get super messy. And 2, I know that in order to dig a trench, interesting word, or a basement, we're not going to just use shovels. Could you imagine digging out your whole basement with just one shovel? That would take a very long time. I know that when my friend Mr. Sam had his house built, do you remember what I said they used? They used something called an excavator. It's a big machine, and it has this big bucket or this big claw on the front, and it digs and it picks up all the dirt, and then it swings it over and it empties it out on the other side. So it makes like this big hill of dirt. I bet some of you might think that's fun to play in. So kindergarten, a groundbreaking is just a ceremony or kind of like a celebration where they show that they're going to start building something, and they celebrate or they show that they're going to start building just by grabbing some shovels and just digging a little bit. They're just going to dig a little bit, and after they do that, then the excavator is going to come in and it's going to do the real digging. So kindergarten, a groundbreaking just means that they're going to start building. So after they celebrate, after they have their ceremony of groundbreaking, then the excavators come and they are going to dig out some trenches. Can you find a picture that matches the word trenches? Oh, I found it. This picture right here shows some trenches. A trench is a hole in the ground, but it's very long. It's very long. Why do you think they need to dig out a very long hole in the ground? Do you see what's in this picture? What do you think that is? That is a pipe. That's a pipe. So when they dig out the trenches, that means that they probably have to lay down some pipes. What do you think we need pipes in a school for? Why would we have pipes in a school? Kindergarten. Sometimes when we're done playing on the playground, we come in and we're really hot and we really need to get a drink. Well, that water doesn't just come from nowhere. It comes from the pipes. All of these pipes bring in all the water to the school. The water that we get from the drinking fountain, the water that they use in the kitchen, and the water in the bathroom too. Yep, we definitely need to get some pipes into that school. So we dig trenches first with our excavators, and then we put our pipes down in the trenches, and then we cover them back up. So underneath the school and around the school are lots of different pipes. That way they're not sticking up. They're not sticking up around the school because that might make getting into the school a little tricky. So they put them underground. So the groundbreaking just means that they are starting to build something, and one of the first things they do when they start to build is dig the trenches so they can put the pipes in.